So do you need FDA approval to sell sauces, more specifically hot sauces? Well, in this video, I'm actually going to address a question we get quite often here on Marketing Food Online, and it's all about hot sauces and how the FDA's role plays in you selling it and getting it approved. So you definitely want to find out exactly, do you need direct approval or are there some guidelines that you should follow? So let's just get started with this. So you typically don't actually need direct FDA approval to sell a hot sauce. Now, to keep that in mind, there are some important regulatory requirements that you must meet. Now, these particular things are rules and guidelines set up by the FDA, but they don't necessarily check off a box somewhere and say, okay, Damien, you can sell your hot sauce, you're good to go. So this video, I'm going to go through, I think it's five. We've got 5 specific things that we want to cover to give you a little better understanding about how that works. So basically, when you do this, you have to have what's known as, right off the bat, it's known as FDA registration. So if you're producing your hot sauce at a facility, that facility must be registered with the FDA under the Food Safety Modernization Act. This is actually mandatory for all food manufacturers, including those making hot sauces. Acidified foods. Now, hot sauces are often considered acidified foods because it contains ingredients like vinegar, which lower the pH. Now, when this happens, the FDA has specific guidelines in place specifically for the production of acidified foods, which would be including pH testing, mandatory records for the pH levels to ensure the safety and stability of the product too. The next one up is going to be process authority, as it's called. You may need to have a recipe basically reviewed by what's known as a process authority or food scientist who can verify that your production process is safe and that the hot sauce will not actually support growth of any harmful bacteria. That's something that is definitely mandatory. The next thing up would be labeling. Now, of course, the FDA does have guidelines. Your product label must comply with FDA labeling guidelines and regulations, including the ingredient list, allergen information, and nutritional facts, okay? So yes, that's something that the FDA does lay out for you to do as well. Now, the state and local regulations. Now, besides federal regulations, you must also comply with state and local health department regulations, which may include actually obtaining permits, of course, licenses, especially if you're producing and selling hot sauce from your home or at a farmer's market. It's not commercially produced. Now, a lot of cottage food states don't allow that under their laws, by the way. Now, in summary, though, you don't need to explicit FDA approval, but compliance with the regulations set forth by the FDA and possibly state laws is essential to do your hot sauce basically legally. So to answer that question, which we've gotten probably hundreds of comments about hot sauces, that is something that you need to do. Now, the one thing you're going to keep in mind is that if you're starting from home, cottage food laws in a lot of states actually do allow you to produce certain acidified foods. May not necessarily be hot sauce. It could be salsa. It could be other sauces or dipping sauces or pasta sauces and that type. But to be honest with you, the vast majority of states don't allow it due to the acidified aspect of the food itself. So I hope that answers your question. You don't necessarily need explicit, specific FDA approval, but they do have guidelines, they have rules, they have regulations that want to make sure that the product is safe. So hope that answers your question. I'll see you guys in our next video.